Now, an hour of clarity for exhausted people of our nation mired in toxic partisanship. Left versus right, us versus them. While we pay to keep our politicians fighting, how do we, the people, rise up and solve the great challenges of our time? We do it by embracing freedom and liberty. There may be no such thing as a free lunch, but this hour is as close as it gets. Welcome to A Free Solution.
All right, welcome everyone to A Free Solution. I'm Kevin Wilson, your host for today. Thank you so much for joining us. We're here live on WYSL until 1 p.m. That means that you, the listener, can give us a call, participate in the discussion. Locally, 585-346-3000. That's 585-346-3000. Or 800 number 866-552-1009. That's 866-552-1009. Whichever one. Both are fine. And shout out down the line to our friends over at WACK out in Newark. Thank you for listening as well, a little bit later in the day. And our friends listening online too. Of course, the Free Solution YouTube page, Free Solution, the Facebook page, and the Kevin Wilson pages. Wherever you're listening today, thank you for being here. Thank you for listening in. And, if you've been listening to any news today, or at least if your, news feed on Facebook, Twitter, and others looks anything like mine does, the topic on everyone's mind is the pullout in Afghanistan, which originally, the Biden administration is scheduled for September 11th, but it's happening a bit sooner now for a bunch of reasons. And the Trump administration, way back when, had actually scheduled a pullout for May 1st that the Biden administration extended. And what I want to talk about today is just kind of what's happening over there, some of the lessons that we might be able to learn from that. I look at that situation. It's what's going on over there is heartbreaking, right? Again, and there's a lot of kind of complicated partisan stuff going on here in our discussions about that. So we'll talk about the politics of that and talk about the actual situation on the ground a little bit. And I'm sure Larry's going to talk about this tomorrow too. He might provide his own unique perspective on this situation as well. And we'll see. But I kind of want to talk about the refugee situation too. So any of that stuff, would love to hear your comments, your thoughts. Again, give us a call, 866-552-1009. That's 866-552-1009. Or leave us a comment online. Either one is fine. Looking at both of those. So, let's just talk about, again, some of the stuff that's making the rounds on the news right now. It's so the Taliban is taking over local provinces. It looks like the city of Kabul has fallen. So the capital of Afghanistan, the president of Afghanistan fled the country over the weekend. And basically everything, from what it sounds like, everything except for the airport is now under Taliban control. So again, after 20 years of trying to defeat this organization, the entire country is back in the hands of the Taliban once again. 20 years of doing this, $1 trillion, tens of thousands of Afghani lives, thousands of American lives, all of this, and we are walking away with nothing. We have spent so much on this war that had no direction for a very long time. I think Andrew and I did a show on the Afghanistan papers a while ago. When all those dropped, we knew over a decade and a half ago that this was a war that had no direction, that the American military and the American politicians no longer understood the goals of this war. What is the end game? What does it look like? Are we rebuilding a country? Are we just routing the Taliban? Are we trying to get rid of the people who caused 9/11? The original authorization of use of military force, where every single member of Congress, except for Barbara Lee, voted to bring us in there. What did that authorize us to do? What did that accomplish? What was the goal in mind? And was the goal to get Osama bin Laden? Was the goal to build a new country? Was the goal to build a stable country that would no longer attack us, that would be allies with the United States again? We haven't been able to do that. just like other empires before us, just like the British Empire in the early 20th century and the Soviet Union in the 1980s, we were unsuccessful. Our government was unsuccessful in being able to occupy Afghanistan. Very varied empires. So trillions of dollars later, what do we have besides endless trauma for both Americans and Afghanistan, the people of Afghanistan alike? A new theocratic regime in Afghanistan once again. It's tragic. And this is why folks like me, folks like Larry and Tim as well, are anti-war. We knew that this is often what happens in these situations, that the military is good at going in and breaking stuff. And Larry talks about this all the time. They're good at doing that. But what's the end goal? What do you want to accomplish with this? Is this going to destabilize the region? Is this going to weaken American power? Does this advance our interests? And will all this bloodshed, money, and destruction accomplish what we hope to accomplish? The answer is often no. That sending a bunch of stuff overseas and blowing it up and risking American lives and risking the lives of people over there results in nothing but death. Now, there are folks who see the situation, who see the pullout, and they're comparing it to the Vietnam situation. It's hard not to compare that. The image in Vietnam that people always think of is the helicopters taking off from the U.S. Embassy, and we saw that here in Afghanistan too. But I think the image that's going to be burned into everyone's mind, the image that's going to be in the history books for everyone, is the Afghani refugees trying to board planes, desperately trying to leave a country, knowing that if they stay behind, they'll likely be slaughtered by the Taliban. Those folks clinging to the planes for dear life, even hanging on to the point of the plane lifting off in the air and people falling from the planes. That's the image that's going to be burned into the history books. That's going to be burned to the minds of the American people as we left this. This is the legacy that we left. Now, as I titled the show that the leaving Afghanistan was always going to be messy. We've known this for a while. But instead of preparing, we have several administrations. This is on Obama, this is on Trump, this is on Biden. Several administrations, instead of taking precautions, being able to do an organized pullout, we instead have this chaos. It was intentional. It was complete incompetence, not just on the Biden administration, but on the American government as a whole. And that type of incompetence is what is unacceptable. That's what we're going to remember about this. This is what our allies are going to remember about this. It's this disorganized mess where we have spent billions of dollars trying to prepare the Afghani National Army to hold their country, to hold the Taliban at bay. Billions of dollars, tons and tons of weapons. And yet the Taliban were able to sweep through in a week. As soon as the Americans were no longer there, they just crushed. It's like an incredible military offensive. What do we have to show for all that money, all those resources, all those lives in this situation? And it just crumbles instantly. And again, it didn't just happen in a week. The Taliban have been rebuilding their army, their power base for a while through threats and intimidation, through sometimes just building off of the hatred of 20 years of war. That's what it is. They're able to sweep right through. It's awful. And now the Taliban are stronger than ever because not only did they sweep right through and just kind of crush this army that we spent billions of dollars training, they also have all the equipment too. And you've seen some of the pictures of that. They have Black Hawk helicopters and guns and explosive devices and all sorts of different stuff that would have been difficult for them to gain access to had the U.S. military and the Army of Afghanistan not left it all behind as they got swept through. It's terrible. We're going to spend most of this episode talking about this stuff and some of the details and what we do next and get what lessons we learn. It's an awful situation for people who served, for the people of Afghanistan, just to see that this is how this is ending. And it is ending. And I want to talk too about the type of folks who are saying, well, maybe we should stay there. Maybe we should go back. Maybe we should stabilize the situations. No, that's not a tenable solution. We had our opportunity to have a cleaner transition of power, and the U.S. military and U.S. politicians failed at that. I don't just put that on the U.S. military, but it is a lot of times on the politicians who set the strategy, set the goals. They have failed at that. And now it's going to be paid in billions of dollars and thousands of lives. All right. So thanks again for joining us here on A Free Solution. And when we come back, we'll continue talking about what's going on in Afghanistan. If you want to participate in the discussion, give us a call, 585-346-3000. That's 585-346-3000. We're going to be back in just a few minutes here on A Free Solution.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
The Finger Lakes Castle team is in its 7th decade of factory direct service to the service professional. From cleaning the ins and outs of your vehicle to keeping you on the road, Castle's got you covered. Castle makes streak-proof glass cleaner, FDA-registered sanitizers, and EPA-registered hospital-grade disinfectants. Remember, when you need to keep it clean, use what the pros use. Castle. Accept no substitutes.
Castle keeps it clean.
A message from the National Police Association. It used to be that any able-bodied person would offer to assist a police officer in danger. Now, passers-by are more likely to take a video. There's a better use for your phone when an officer's in trouble. Call 911. Tell the operator where you are and what you see. Then, start your video to provide evidence later. To learn more about how you can assist law enforcement, visit nationalpolice.org. That's nationalpolice.org.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to Simple Tech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that Simple Tech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at Simple Tech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at Simple Tech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
A free solution.
All right. Welcome back to A Free Solution. I'm Kevin Wilson, your host today. Thanks again for joining us on A Free Solution. We're live here until 1 p.m. So give us a call if you want to participate in the discussion. 866-552-1009. That's 866-552-1009. Love to hear from anyone who served over there, their thoughts on how this is ending, and love to hear thoughts on what we do with all the folks, the people of Afghanistan who helped out the U.S. military and our allies over in Afghanistan. Should they be able to come in? I certainly have thoughts on that, but would love to hear from you. Again, give us a call, 866-552-1009, or leave a comment online. And if it's a good one, we'll read it on air. Now, again, I had mentioned that this is something that costs us a couple $1 trillion. We have been in this war 20 years. Well, there's 2 generations of families sometimes fighting over in Afghanistan, and this is a war that needed to end. And I am glad that the Biden administration kept their commitment to ending it. Donald Trump also promised to do that. He promised to keep America first and to get us out of Afghanistan and no longer commit U.S. resources to foreign conflicts. And yet he did not fulfill that promise. Donald Trump failed in that respect. And I was happy when he had sent the original pullout date of May 1st. It's great. Part of the reason we might have been better if both the Trump administration and the Biden administration had prepared for that pullout date instead of what we have now, which is a total mess. And again, this isn't. Let's kind of set this up. I'm not a partisan, right? I'm not someone who's like, well, this is bad for Biden or this is good for Trump or any of that stuff. Like I want to focus on what the actual solutions are, what's actually happening here, and like what can we learn from this? How could we do better? Who's accountable for this type of stuff? And there's a big narrative going around among the conservative media that like, oh, this is all Biden's fault. I think it's only half right. Because there's a lot of those folks who are saying, well, this is Biden's fault and we should stay in another couple more years. What's a few more years of being in this country if it means a less messy pullout? Okay, great. But again, we had 20 years of doing this. There was plenty of time. We knew what the situation was on the ground a long, long time ago. Obama could have done this. Trump could have done this. George W. Bush could have done this, for goodness sakes. We should have been out of there a long, long time ago. This doesn't just fall on Biden. This doesn't just fall on the Democrats. This isn't just his fault. Joe Biden is absolutely right to commit to ending this war. Where Joe Biden went wrong here is not making sure that the people over there that the U.S. government made commitments to were taken care of. That's the ugly part of this. Why do you see people jumping on airplanes, literally clinging to the side of the airplane to make sure that they can get out of the country? Why are people so desperate to do that? Well, it's because the Taliban is a really ugly, nasty organization. And they know that if they don't get out of the country, they're going to be slaughtered. The type of people who served as interpreters, as allies of the U.S. forces and other allied forces overseas who are doing that stuff, they know that they're a target. Not just them, their families, their children, their spouses, brothers, cousins. They're all targets. And they could be killed by the Taliban over there. And so that's part of the promise, right? That's part of the deal, is that if you helped over there, well, you're supposed to be able to get taken care of. You either get protection, or many times you'd eventually be able to get a special immigration visa and be able to leave the country, be able to go to the United States or to another country and be able to live freely and not have to worry about you and your family being in danger anymore. Now, we've known that this was going to be a problem for years. Now, this was a problem in Vietnam, too. We ran into the same issue where all those folks who helped the U.S. military in Vietnam, they knew that they were going to be a target for the Viet Cong. They knew that they were going to be a target for the Ho Chi Minh regime. They knew that they were going to be killed or tortured or thrown in jail if they were seen as traitors to the new regime. And people like Joe Biden, who has, my goodness, been around long enough to do this, he wasn't good on that issue in Vietnam either. He didn't want to bring anyone over, didn't want to help anyone out, didn't want to. It's not even helping out. It's like they already put in the work. This is payment for work. This is the compensation for putting their lives on the line by doing these jobs for the U.S. military. And Joe Biden was bad on this issue in Vietnam, and he's bad on this issue now. Now, maybe he's getting enough public pressure to change his mind on this. But again, you have something like 88,000 people who had worked in some capacity. Again, interpreters, drivers, logistics support, whatever it is. There's a whole bunch of different stuff that people of Afghanistan did to support the effort, many of which were just I'm sure many were motivated by trying to create a better country for themselves. I said, all right, this is a path to creating a better country. We'll work with the U.S. military because, like, well, we don't like what the Taliban did and is continuing to do with their violence, intimidation, fear, backwards, ideas about the role of women in society and the role of their religion in their government. Lots of those folks are probably just trying to make a better future for themselves and their family. And once that role was done, I'm sure many of them would hope to stay there and continue to build that better future. But there's always that possibility of what happened here where it doesn't go their way. And now these people that you've been fighting for many, many years now know that you are on the other side. They're going to seek revenge. So we had something like 88,000 people who are doing this. The Biden administration, now they've bumped it up a little bit. But originally they were only going to do a couple thousand new special immigration visas to make sure that they were able to get over to the United States. Again, these are people who helped the war effort, right? It takes time to vet them, and it takes time to make sure they can do this. But we had years of being able to do this stuff, and it's been slow rolled. The Trump administration was really bad on this, but so was the Obama administration. Again, it's not any one party's fault, any one president's fault. Biden could have done better. Trump could have done better. And now I know they're increasing up to maybe 30,000 Afghan refugees, but at this point, trying to do it at the last minute is a mess. Literally, we don't know if the U.S. can hold the airport over there. I haven't looked at the news recently, but I know that it's a tenuous situation. They don't know that it's secure. They don't know that they can get in planes in and out. They don't know that the Taliban will be cooperative to let those people leave, since they basically control the city, as I understand it. So instead of, again, playing this out, getting those people out as soon as possible, working for years to do it, slow rolled the process. People applied years ago and just can't get through. They can't, even though they've put their necks on the line for us, they can't get paid for what they did. And the payment, again, is being able to come here to the United States and just live their lives and make sure their families are safe and not threatened by some of the monsters that are over there. We're abandoning them. It's sickening. Again, not just Biden's fault, but it is a lot of Biden's fault. He could have done better. He knew about this. He could have told the U.S. military months ago. The U.S. military said, yeah, we don't have a plan to get all these people out if there's a rapid pullout. We don't have a plan for this. The Biden administration didn't direct that. They could have done that, and they chose not to. Why? That's what I want to know. Why didn't the Biden administration choose to, make sure that they were honoring the commitments that they had made? Why didn't the Biden administration do that? And then they could try to fix it now, right? They're starting to ramp it up. But again, as of a week ago, it was only a couple thousand people that were doing this. But the Canadian and the British governments are handing out special visas to try to get people out as soon as possible. And yet, here we are. All right, sounds like we got a caller on the line, though. We only have a couple minutes left. But Gene from Rochester.
Yeah, how you doing? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I just have one question. We keep saying why. Who's controlling the poppy field? That's what I would like to know. Or maybe I don't know.
I don't know. It is interesting, who directly controls it. Right now, it's probably the Taliban. They're probably going to make a ton of money off of that. There's a lot of good questions about the drug and opioid trade that originate in Afghanistan that I think are worth continuing to dig into. I assume that's what you're alluding to, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Usually it's the CIA, so I'm just saying, is it us or is it them?
Hard to tell. I mean, like I said, you show me hard evidence. I'll put that on the show. We'll talk about it because
okay.
I think there's plenty of questions about who controls the poppy fields over there, how they're how that money is getting funneled into a whole bunch of different places, pharmaceutical companies, terrorist organizations, etc. But thanks to the call, appreciate that. That's definitely another part of this war that we need to continue asking questions about. Thanks for the call, and if you want to call in, give us a call 866-552-1009. That's 866-552-1009. We'll be back with more on A Free Solution in a few minutes.
Fly the flag, stand for freedom. AM 1040 Avon Rochester, FM 92.1 Rochester, and FM 95.5 Spencerport.
Here's the News 10 NBC forecast on WYSL. Tonight, low temperature of 67 with cloudy skies and showers and storms through the overnight period. Showers and storms could be heavy at times into that Tuesday morning commute. We transition over to an isolated shower by the middle of the day on Tuesday, then a thunderstorm could pop into the afternoon. We're going to be on the muggy side overnight tonight and into the day tomorrow as well. High of 78 Tuesday. Going into Tuesday night, an isolated shower will be possible, otherwise muggy with a low of 68. I'm meteorologist Alex Bielfeld on your WYSL stations.
Summertime means a world of summer fun with a little help from Victor Chevrolet. Pursue the possibilities of summer in your 2021 Equinox all-wheel drive LS. Lease it for just $249.95 per month for 39 months. Or enjoy the versatility of the tough and roomy 2021 Trailblazer LS front-wheel drive. Lease for only $159.95 a month for 39 months. You could haul plenty of people and cargo in your 2021 Chevy Silverado 1500 LT double cab pickup. Lease for just $379 a month for 39 months. All these deals include all applicable factory rebates, incentives, and discounts. 10,000 miles per year, 25 cents for each additional mile. $2,500 cash or trade. First payment, tax, acquisition, bank, and DMV fees due at signing for all leases. Lessee responsible for repair and maintenance. Security deposit is waived. Must have existing lease and household. Tier 1 credit approval required. All deals end August 31st, 2021. Don't forget, Victor Chevrolet needs your trade. Find new roads at Victor Chevrolet, Route 96 in Victor. Visit victorchevrolet.com.
FM Talk. What's with those injury attorney TV ads these days? Seems like they're in a race to see who can put more lawyer faces on the screen. Even with an 80-inch TV, you can't make them out. What's the point? Maybe they're trying to impress with who's biggest, but it ends up looking like an undergrad photo in your school yearbook, or maybe a dating site from hell. Of course, the one attorney that matters to you is the one who's helping you put your life back together after a personal injury or a motorcycle accident, or handling your DWI defense. Christopher Johnson makes you feel like you're his only client, because when you meet with him, your case gets 100% of his attention. Write this number down. Keep it in your car. 415-3803. 415-3803. At this number, instead of getting lost in the crowd, you'll get individual attention, integrity, experience, and expertise. Write it down. 415-3803. Put the power of one on your legal team. Stay safe, be healthy, drive sober. Christopher Johnson, attorney. Personal injury, car or motorcycle accidents, DWI defense.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to SimpleTech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that SimpleTech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at SimpleTech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at SimpleTech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
When you need contracting work done around your home or business, it's frustrating to find someone with the expertise, experience, and versatility that's just right. Chamberlain Construction to the rescue. Chamberlain's done it all, commercial and residential, and you name it, Chamberlain can do it. Roofing, siding, kitchens, baths, decks, porches, remodeling, bump outs, stores, garages, with the best in materials and workmanship. Over 30 years of reliable, ethical experience anywhere in our region. Chamberlain Construction, Dansville, 370-5959, 370-5959. Contact Lee Chamberlain, lee@chamberlainconstruction.com, spelled chamber, L-I-N.
Summer's at its best at Stokey Farms Sunflower Experience. Come and enjoy a sea of blooms from the palest of yellow to the deepest of reds. Get your camera ready for magical Instagram-worthy images that will stun your friends. Animals, activities, hay rides, and more. Stop out on one of the twilight nights for live music and support some of Rochester's favorite food trucks with a picnic dinner. Sunflowers at Stokey Farms begins August 6th, but it won't last. StokeyFarms.com for dates and details.
Tom Walls. Let me cook you the greatest cheeseburger you've ever had. The crispiest French fries. Let me serve you a frosted mug of Tom Walls root beer. Still made one small batch at a time. Tom Walls.
Tom Walls. A free solution.
All right, welcome back to A Free Solution. I'm Kevin Wilson, your host for today. Thanks again for joining us. We're here live on WYSL. That means that you, the listener, can give us a call, 866-552-1009. If you're listening a little bit later over on WACK, appreciate y'all being here as well. WACK out in Newark. And shout out to our friends listening online, too. A Free Solution, the YouTube channel, Free Solution, the Facebook page, and the Kevin Wilson page. Wherever you're listening today, that we're on the podcast, too. We got those, too. Appreciate y'all being here. So we're talking about what's going on in Afghanistan today. And it seems like the U.S. had a much messier ending of this than we anticipated. Again, there's no real neat ending to war. It's not what happens. If you read history, you know, it's not just wars that are going badly, even wars that go well. There's never really a neat end. You can look at situations like, obviously, there's Vietnam, but there's also situations like what happened in Europe after World War II. It didn't quite end right, you know, where you think it did. That there's still partisan fighting between fascists and communists that went on for several years afterwards. There's a lot of money involved in trying to stabilize the situation and a lot of keeping some questionable people in power in those situations on both sides. Both the Soviets and the Allies did that after World War II. There's no clean end. It's difficult to end the situation with where massive violence and years of fighting with a sudden peace. Sometimes it happens, but not the same thing with, you know, things like the American Civil War. Fighting actually went on for quite a while after the surrender at Appomattox, and that was in the form of domestic terrorism and with groups like the KKK. It's hard to solve these situations. Again, but folks who are liberty-minded, folks who want to keep America first, folks who recognize how destructive war could be. You know, sometimes maybe war is justified, but you have to carefully consider why you're there. Again, were we in Afghanistan for revenge? Were we in Afghanistan to stop a terrorist organization? We're in Afghanistan to build a new nation in our image all the way around the world with people who, some of whom know nothing about us, some of whom the only thing they know about the United States is that they hate us. Was that a worthwhile mission? Did we get our money's worth? Was it worth the lives? Thousands of lives that were spent holding that country. Not just the people who died, too, the people who have been permanently injured from that war. The United States has done this. I hope after this is over, and it's still ongoing, it's still going to be a while. We're still going to hear many stories of young families who are trying to escape Afghanistan, who were promised a deal to be able to come to the United States, but now young men, their spouses, children, trying to sneak out of the country in the middle of the night, get to another country, and then maybe, hopefully, get to the United States. That's the Biden administration's current plan. So go try to get to a safe third country. Good luck. Good luck when right now, as of a few minutes ago, that apparently no flights are leaving the airport in Kabul. It's not secure enough for flights to leave or land. So tough to get out. So people are going to have a rough time doing that and rough time finding places that are going to be able to take them in, and then have the U.S. government take months or years to process their special immigration visas in order to get them over here. It's going to be a long, arduous process for many of those people. It's going to be a long, arduous process of rebuilding the country when you have folks like the Taliban running it. The lesson I hope politicians learn from this is that even in the midst of attack, even in the midst of pain, is that if we are going to commit to war, if we're going to commit to violence as the resolution to something even as terrible as September 11th, we have to know exactly what the goal is. It's the goal to take someone out. It's the goal to, destabilize an organization. And can you limit the scope of that conflict to just doing those goals? And then can you commit to actually ending it when that goal has been achieved? We sure as heck weren't able to do that in Afghanistan. Committed to an entire nation building project that was almost certainly futile from the beginning. And we couldn't do that in Iraq either. Again, we took out Saddam Hussein, we destabilized the country, and then created a whole host of new problems, destabilizing the entire region, destabilizing the entire Middle East, ultimately leading to things like ISIS. We didn't have that concise goal in mind. We didn't think through what the consequences are of invading a country and destabilizing the government, and had the hubris to think that we could just fix it. And maybe we can't. It's not even just like the U.S. can't, or don't give me any nonsense like, oh, if we just spent a bit more money on the military, or spent a bit more money, or committed a few more resources to doing it, maybe we could have done it. No nonsense. I'm not sure that is possible for any foreign empire, and in their eyes, the United States is a foreign empire, for anyone to be able to occupy that land and to reshape it in our image without committing to a multi-generational project. For the same reason that colonialism failed, and eventually it's very costly to do, it's very expensive to do, and people want to be free, people want to be independent, people need to figure out on their own, within their own cultures, with their own contexts, how to build freedom. And it's not going to happen through coercion. It's not going to happen through overwhelming force. It's not going to happen through the U.S. military. And there are reasons for defense. There are reasons for war. They should be limited in scope, and we should understand how they're going to end. Yeah, it's easy for me to say as just a radio commentator, whatever. But it's our money. It's people that are friends, our family members who are going to commit to these conflicts. It's our country's reputation that's on the line. There's all these different things. Again, it's not just we're not going to go back to Afghanistan. That's not a realistic solution for anyone. For the still remaining hawks still squawking about that. It's not going to happen. That's not an option anymore, folks. It's no one wants that, and the cost is too high, way too high. So when we look at other situations where, like, maybe there's a temptation for the U.S. to get involved, we sometimes see people will say that stuff about, oh, what if we got involved in Venezuela? What if we got involved in Cuba? What if we help people out? What are the actual costs of doing that? Are people going to resent us? Is it going to create new security concerns for people in the United States? Does it actually eliminate any security concerns that you think are there? Again, did going into Afghanistan eliminate the long-term security concerns of the United States, or did it create new problems? Does it create new blowback for the safety here domestically? I think it might have. Again, I think it certainly did in Iraq, with the rise of ISIS and then the inspiration for more terrorist organizations. We need to think carefully about the consequences of our actions. So when we're thinking about other situations, maybe don't get involved. Maybe don't spend trillions of dollars trying to occupy a country. Maybe don't cost thousands of lives. Maybe don't in U.S. and in the country you're occupying. Maybe we don't go to war next time. Maybe we do actually keep America first. Maybe we make sure that we're able to uphold peace and be serious about upholding peace. Not upholding peace through war, not that Orwellian stuff, but we actually uphold peace and diplomacy and stay out of these conflicts. That's why I'm hoping we get out of this. I don't know if we will. I don't know if that's what's going to happen. And, I know folks like Larry probably have more to say about this. He certainly has some perspectives as a Marine that he's probably going to give to this. And if he doesn't on this show, then I know he will on his Sharp Way show too. So I'll shift topics for the last segment unless someone calls in. Again, if you want to call in for the last segment, give us a call, 866-552-1009. That's 866-552-1009. If you want to call in about Afghanistan, call in. Otherwise, I'm going to shift topics, and we'll talk about a couple other things going on. Thanks again for joining us on Free Solution. We'll be back in a few minutes.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to Simple Tech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that Simple Tech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at Simple Tech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at Simple Tech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
Hi, my name is Ryan Bourne.
And I'm Danica Bourne.
And we're the owners of South Coast Tax. We would like to thank our Lord for protecting us from evil. Psalm 91 states, "He is my refuge and my fortress, for he will rescue us from every trap and protect us from deadly disease."
South Coast Tax are Christian-based tax accountants and attorneys who specialize in releasing bank levies, wage garnishments, and filing complex tax returns. We are the leaders in acceptance of offers and compromise with awesome results.
We are also a small firm who will treat you like family and not just a number.
Call us today at 1-800-TAX-1176 for a free consultation, and we'll take the time to explain all of the programs that you qualify for in order to allow you a fresh start.
In John 8:36, so if the Son sets you free, you will be free indeed. And one way we can achieve that is by being debt-free. So let us help you today. Call us at 1-800-TAX-1176, and together we can help achieve this goal by putting the IRS tax debt behind you for good. Again, that number is 1-800-TAX-1176.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovation should be your first call. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
A free solution.
All right, welcome back to A Free Solution. I'm Kevin Wilson, your host for today. Thanks again for joining us. We're live here on WYSL, so make sure you give us a call, 585-346-3000. That's 585-346-3000. If you want to participate in the discussion, shout out to Stephen listening today. Thank you for saying hi in the chat. Appreciate you being here. And so we've been spending most of the show talking about Afghanistan. And again, I hope we the American voting public, because the politicians are going to do, what they're going to do, but we hold them accountable for these mistakes, for committing our tax dollars, our resources, our lives to wars without a clear end goal and without a clear understanding of what we want to accomplish. And on two last notes on that before I jump to another topic too, is just, again, I really hope that the American government finds a way to get all the people who helped in Afghanistan out of that country. And again, I can't imagine being, I see some of these stories of people my age with kids my age, just trying to get them out kids, that are my kids' age, just trying to get their families out, and they thought that was the deal for helping, that was the payment for helping, and now to have to go into hiding, worried that your entire family is going to be killed, because the American government didn't take that promise seriously, is disgusting, and hurts the American cause if the United States gets in any futures wars. Like, why, if you're in another country that's invaded by the U.S., why would you trust the U.S. to actually carry out that obligation? They didn't do it in Vietnam. They didn't do it in Afghanistan. They didn't do it in Iraq. Or when they did do it, it was not as robust. Not as many people actually ended up being able to come to the United States to do that. So either don't make the promise in the first place or find a way to carry it out. Terrible. Hurts the U.S. and not to mention, the more serious thing is it puts people's lives in danger. That the blood of some of these people is going to be on the hands of the Biden administration and the Trump and Obama administrations too, for not being on this. And then one other point is we're also still in Iraq too. We still have like 2,500 advisors in Iraq as well. Another place we should probably be out of, plus a dozen others. Let's get out. Again, let's make sure that we're actually keeping American interests first by not getting involved in conflicts we have no business being in. Okay, so switch topics though. It's so something that came up. We're all happy that Governor Cuomo resigned. Well, I certainly am. I'm sure most of you listening today are happy that he resigned too. The surprising part kind of came a little bit after. Is like, well, he's resigned, but now they're no longer doing an impeachment investigation. And so part of me kind of gets it. It's like, okay, well, he's gone. So like, what do you need to impeach him for? Well, there's a couple reasons, right? It's the stuff that Governor Cuomo did that he was under investigation for, that the reason that this committee was formed wasn't just the sexual harassment, sexual misconduct stuff. It's a whole bunch of other things too. Like we the people in New York wanted to see a deeper formal investigation of what happened in nursing homes. We want to see what happened in a whole bunch of other stuff too. And so, that's my question to throw out to you listeners today is should the impeachment process still have gone on? Again, I get the we don't want to spend money on this type of thing, but from my understanding, and maybe we'll have someone on the show to talk about this more in depth, but from my understanding is a lot of that money's kind of already been spent. So you might as well just finish that up and uncover the results. Instead, nope, we Carl Hasty just decided, no, we're probably not gonna release a report, not gonna do a thing. We're just gonna move along. Because the other thing you want to know is, again, who else is responsible for this? Is there anyone still in power? Any advisors still staying on with the new Hochul administration? Any commissioners still staying on with the new Hochul administration that are responsible for the nursing home deaths? They're responsible for covering up the sexual harassment. They're responsible for any number of other corruption scandals. Again, we've listed off a whole bunch of them before. The stuff with the bridge, the stuff with the salt, the stuff with the solar stuff, the Buffalo Billion, all that stuff, it's still got to be investigated. We should clean house. If we want to get serious about ending corruption in New York State, well, then let's do that. Let's finish the investigation. And I think we had talked last Wednesday after the Cuomo resignation too. Someone called in and said, why can't we get the same structure as the Moreland Commission, but with less not less oversight, but less direct power from the new incoming governor to stifle investigations. If we could do that, that would be great. We should do that stuff. We should make sure that there is a full investigation of everything that went on. And if there's any criminal charges that could be referred from this investigation, new evidence that pops up, then that should be part of whatever investigations local district attorneys are doing to move ahead with those too. And we've already spent the resources on it. Why not do it? And again, if this had moved forward, I'd kind of be like, I don't want to spend the money on it. But if we're already partway there, might as well finish the job, and might as well make sure that we're getting the full scope of the problem in New York State, because that's that's the only way I think we're ever going to move on from any of this stuff, any of the destruction of Governor Cuomo. Because of course the interesting thing too is he's still doing stuff, right? For better or worse, he now has said that every medical facility needs to have all their workers vaccinated. I think there's some exceptions, but okay, so he's still doing stuff. He's still implementing policy that still impacts us, that still impacts workers, that still impacts businesses. And if again, I don't know why he's still in power. I think he should have gotten out sooner. I'm sure there's going to be some like discussion about he wanted to make sure the transition was smooth or whatever, but it's nonsense. He should have gotten out immediately, and the new governor, Kathy Hochul, could have gotten in and just cleaned up house after that, done her thing, kind of kept stuff in place that needed to be in place, and then got rid of the folks who were enabling this bad and often corrupt investigation or corrupt behavior. We'd love to hear from you on that. Again, give us a call. Well, we got a couple minutes left. 866-552-1009. That's 866-552-1009. Or leave your comments online. And if we don't get to it today, then maybe we'll get to it a little bit later this week. We want to continue discussing this Cuomo stuff and think about what lessons we can learn from this too. How do we keep a governor accountable? The big thing with Governor Cuomo is, I think the danger that we should all learn here is the concentration of executive power. We got to make sure that when we have any governor, if there is a potential for abuse, if there's a potential for corruption driven by the executive office, we need to limit the ability of an executive to abuse that power, to take it beyond the scope of what they're allowed to do, and to interfere with any attempts to provide oversight on that power and to provide a check on that power. Governor Cuomo, because he had some level of political popularity, a political machine that worked really well, and just a complicit Democratic Party. In a lot of cases, he was able to get away with this stuff for far too long. So this is, again, because they're the party in power, Democrats, it's on you. Want reforms, actual legitimate reforms, are you going to make sure that the next Governor Cuomo, the next person who gets in the executive mansion in Albany, the next person isn't going to be able to do this stuff? Again, from sexual harassment to the nursing home stuff to the dozens and dozens of other corruption accusations that have landed in his lap over his several terms as governor. Like the goal isn't to just get this bad guy out. It's to make the system work more effectively, to make the system so that this type of corruption, the combating this type of corruption is built into the system itself, built into the New York State Constitution, built into the laws of New York State, and that is automatic, that there can be a check on the governor's power. And Republicans, you guys got to stick with this too. It's not, and remember, it's not just Governor Cuomo, because you could get a Republican in office at any level and they could be corrupt as well. But you got to make sure that you're being ideologically consistent. No matter who is in power, make sure that they are not able to no longer be accountable to the people. All right, so that's all I got. I want to mention the Governor Cuomo thing just because was bugging me over the weekend too. The impeachment stuff is, I'd like to see where this goes. I hope that we don't stop this. I hope Carl has to change his mind. I hope that members of the assembly put a lot of pressure on the speaker to make sure that we are getting the truth here. All right, thanks again for joining us here on A Free Solution. Larry Sharp's going to be in tomorrow. I'll be back in on Wednesday. Tim in on Thursday, and then I'll be back Friday as well with Tim. Thanks again for joining us. Have a wonderful day.